So hey guys, it's about 7:30. I'm heading off to the gym. 7:30 in the morning. So I start my day. Today I'm going to focus on a particular exercise, and I'm going to be doing this in a certain rep range, which is a higher rep range. Now, I may be saying this in every video. There are three forms of hypertrophy: mechanical tension, metabolic stress, and muscle damage. But always remember, mechanical tension is the primary driver, the primary stimulus that you got to create for muscle growth. So the other two, metabolic stress and muscle damage, are actually just like things that occur depending on the style of training you're doing, whether you're taxing the low threshold motor units first or the high threshold motor units first. We always want to try to achieve mechanical tension or mechanical loading. I like to say loading. It just sounds better than mechanical tension. So I just got to the gym. Let's go do this. So hey guys, there you go. Gym workout's done. Done. I gotta give myself I'm gonna talk about that exercise real quick. What the purpose of the high repetition is. I gotta give myself a shot. No, this isn't steroids. This is insulin because I'm a type 1 diabetic, for those who are just following me now. Just bent the end of the needle there. And so that one's not going to be any good. Grab another needle. Give myself a shot. Sorry about this. Give myself a couple units, and then I eat about an hour after the shot. I have some oats and some whey on me. So as far as the high repetition there, so what we're trying to do is it's a high repetition starts with the low threshold muscle fibers. Okay, so we have high threshold and low threshold muscle fibers, and on the whole objective of doing light training is to get to that point of metabolic stress and the mechanical loading on the muscles, having the body engage as many muscle fibers as possible to failure. And high rep range training is very, very beneficial. That's between 15 and 30 reps, but you have to do it right. You have to work through the burn, and you have to work to failure. So the whole objective is starting with low threshold muscle fibers and engaging as many until you get to a point of the body engages the high threshold muscle fibers. So what happens is we look at a muscle as like one muscle, but like that's it. But there are thousands of muscle fibers in the sarcomere in the muscle, and the body will engage low threshold muscle fibers, which is just a few of them, when the tension or the load or the force is not that great. And then as it gets greater and greater, it starts to drop off and fatigue the muscle fibers that are low threshold, because they fatigue and they basically just stop working. It's like when you have a car that's stalled on the side of the road and some guy runs up to it and is trying to push it from behind and he can't, so then we call for another guy, and another guy comes there and they start pushing a little bit, and then they can't go any further, so then another guy comes and starts pushing, and then they start pushing the car, and as they get it about a half a mile, one guy drops off and somebody else jumps in to replace it. And the same with muscle fibers. They drop off, others are engaged through a neuro connection basically within the muscle from the central nervous system. So we want to engage as many muscle fibers as we can to create that mechanical loading and mechanical tension. So the objective with that is everything you're searching for when you're training is mechanical tension or mechanical loading. Now there's passive and active functions within the muscle. So, you know, you can figure the active is the contractional portion and the passive is the eccentric. The only place you can really generate force is within the active, the contraction, but you can generate tension in the eccentric portion of the lift. So doing lightweight training will activate towards the end of the reps, as long as you go to failure, will activate more and more muscle fibers. So you start with low threshold muscle fibers is what the central nervous system starts to engage, because it's like it isn't that heavy. But as you get to that 15th rep or whatever, the load starts to get heavier and heavier, especially if you're maintaining form. You need to maintain, that's actually the reason why I like doing this, because you want to target the muscle. You can actually control the engagement of the muscle better in lightweight training than you can in heavyweight, because you can actually focus and control. And you want to get a good stretch, which is the lengthening of the muscle fibers, and then you also want to get a good contraction, which is increasing the diameter. Man, after workout, I can't pronounce anything, but increasing the diameter of the muscle fibers. Okay, so there's two forms of hypertrophy. Okay, so we have the hypertrophy of the sarcomere, the liquid in the sarcomere, which actually enlarges the cells. The sarcomere is the casing of the muscle fibers. And then we have basically muscle hypertrophy, which is the growth, lengthening and diameter growth of the muscles. So, very key point. Remember, strict form during those type of exercises. Focus on creating a better mind-muscle connection or neural connection. It will help with the activation of the myofibril, which is the myosin and the actin fibers that actually create growth in the diameter of the muscle itself as you're creating mechanical loading or mechanical tension. You guys have a good one. This is David Fredrickson. I'll be back with another one. So don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and we'll talk to you guys next time.